First thing I do is I go into a new folder and I start adding all of my stuff. So for this class, starting with our first assignment, we had our Game of Thrones animation, we had our stick animation, our bouncing ball. Then we did our mech rig, we did the Chickster, we did our 3 poses, walk cycle, animation, and pickup. Okay? So for each one of these, you'll have movies, except for those poses, you'll have individual stills for each one of those, okay? Or one big still if you had put them all into one. I just have placeholders. That's how I'm doing mine. I'm not going to go through the every single process, so it'll be an overview. So you drag everything into After Effects. You may get messages, do you want to use it as an alpha channel or anything? You can just hit ignore any alpha channel stuff that pops up. You're going to make a new composition, 960 by 540, 30 frames per second. And for the duration, I would say set it to about a minute. You may have longer stuff, so you may want to go 2 minutes. You can change this after. Then you just grab all your pieces of footage and you drag it down into your comp. Any stills that we have, so here's my poses. Now in my case, all of mine are stills, so I'm going to grab everything. I'm going to go to 3 seconds. I'm going to hold down Alt. I'm going to right bracket. And that cuts everything, so it's all lined up right. Then you're going to click them in the order you want them to show off. So let's say I want to do Game of Thrones, then stick animation, then bouncing ball. It doesn't matter to me, but try to keep like things together. So I wouldn't do like a pose and then bouncing ball, then another pose, then the stick. Keep the things together. Pose, 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 walk cycle, animation, pickup. Now I'm going to go to animation, keyframe assistant, sequence layers, no overlap, hit OK. So that puts them in the order that I want them to show. So here's Game of Thrones, stick animation, bouncing ball, mech rig, and so on and so on. If any of these are bigger than 960 by 540, your poses should be the only one that's bigger than 960 by 540. Then you simply go to that layer, you hit S, and then you scale it down so that it fits. So I'm just going to grab a random image from here, drop this in, and I'll drag him all the way to the end of this. But I first need to cut him, so 3 seconds. There we go. So I'm going to drag this to the end, right there. Okay. So he's too big, so I'm going to hit S. I'm going to scale it down. And if you can fit all of your stuff on the screen without having any black bars or anything on the sides, great. You may have not enough margin around it where you need to scale it down and have those bars in order to see everything. Okay, and that's fine. Just try to fit it as best you can. Then I'm going to go to the end of my animation. I'm going to hit the N as in Nancy key. And then I'm going to go to composition trim. And then I'll take this and send it over to Media Encoder and make a movie out of it. It's that simple. Okay, as long as you have all your stuff there, it's just dropping everything in, putting it together, and then it's done. Make sure you put your name on it, make sure you put demo reel on it, and make sure you put the class on it so that I know all 3 of those things for this class. Wednesday, I will not be here. So you make sure your stuff is on the server before 10:55. I'll grab it off of it after, but there shouldn't be any crazy issues. At the very least, let's say you get an animation done, you don't have time to render it out, turn in what you have. Turn in the animation as is. That way at least you have something in there instead of nothing turned in for that. Even your demo reel, if you have all of yours except for one piece, put all of them in there except for the one piece. Okay? Questions? No? Okay.